found myself, like characters like me in so many stories. Can y'all still hear me?
Yeah,
Am I breaking up on y'all end? Okay, and then and that just really, it kind of endeared me to the written word. And so like, now as I grow up and I'm even more complex than I was, I keep, finding like-minded humans, and, I get more and more and more connected. So for y'all, y'all like my big brothers, like y'all like the real adults I aspire to be. So I'll say this is a reminder today to, as busy as we get and as much money as we can make and as good as family members as we could be, husbands, fathers, and, all that, make sure you make time for a little art. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's good for your soul, to create a little bit yourself and to just, observe, and appreciate some creation. And so I put two little entry quotes in the chat. I got like 14 for y'all. I really want to hear y'all's. I got two that are, just kind of silly, a few about God or about spirituality, and then just kind of two excerpts I thought y'all might like from a new writer I like a lot. But over there in the chat, I don't know if y'all can see that issue or whatever. I got one. I know Ronnie's favorite authors over there, the Johann Wolfgang. We talked quite a bit about him. But that first quote says, every day one should hear at least a little song, read one good poem. Yeah.
Nah, that boy Sykes introduced me to that. That's Sykes guy.
Oh, yes, okay. Sir.
So
what up, Sykes?
What's up, man? What's up, fellas? Look, I done had to join in with y'all.
Man, shit, good to see you, man.
Good, man. Good to see all y'all brothers, man. I heard the good news, so I done tuned in.
Yeah.
Nah, my bad, man. Keep going. I'm sorry, brother.
No, you good, brother. But over there, I had that, that Johann Wolfgang, and another one by Kurt Vonnegut that said, every day one should hear at least one little song, read one good poem, see one fine painting, and if possible, speak a few sensible words. And that definitely made me think about what we were doing here, on Tuesdays. And then that second one is just kind of something like practicing an art, no matter how well or badly, is a way to make your soul grow. For heaven's sake, sing in the shower, dance to the radio, tell stories, write a poem to a friend, even a lousy poem. Do it as well as you possibly can. You will get an enormous reward. You will have created something. And so that was just kind of my little opening as far as just, what the, the written word, I think, creating with the written word, listening to it, observing it, reading it, it's fulfilling, it's important, it's enriching. So, who got a good quote? Who got some good action?
Yeah, no, for sure. One thing I say is just about written word, and I know Brett, he right there, because I know he makes music all the time right now. I know I made music, and that art form in general has been, that's a way to express. That's just like an expressive way. I felt that's been an outlet for me. Just listening, not just listening, but making music. Even my job, like websites and stuff like that, even business, whatever, I always look at it as an art, man. I just think, like you said, written word, books, and just, it's like life can come from those words. It's almost like when you say, speak it into existence. It's something about reading something that was written and then living that or seeing that come to life. You know what I mean? So like, it's like a lot of times when I read books, that inspiration is like based off of taking some art and then trying to translate that into the real world through me. And I think when you create art, it's doing the same thing. Like somebody is creating something, pulling something from the air, pulling the energy down, and then channeling that back out through that art form. Man. So what you're saying right here, even those two quotes, they touched me. You know what I mean? That like it's something that I could see that in every day, man. So just appreciate you sharing that.
Ain't no thing, brother. That's real.
Yeah, also for a passive aggressive person, music, man, it helps you a lot to relieve stress. Just lay it all out on the table, man, and that's how I do it. I don't know about everybody else, but music is an outlet for me. I'm gonna do music for the rest of my life, man, because it helped me a lot. But just getting things off my chest, I got so much things bottled up. You might blow up on the wrong person. They might not even been the person you mad at, but if I just let it out, you know what I'm saying, in the booth, I let it out on paper, man, I'm back to how I'm supposed to be, focused and on my mission. But like I say, without music, man, I told my sister the other day, without music, I don't even know where I'd be at. It sounds cliche, but it's real.
In the car?
No, that's real. Any of y'all anybody do your homework? Anybody got a quote?
I got a quote. Like I just want to say, I'm just saying this as we're on the topic, man. And this is sharing. I'm sharing with y'all because I even know this might not be completely on this, but it is within art. And why I see well, art can be transformational, right? Like even through I'm calling Brett out. I'm not saying, but I seen transformation through art reflecting to life from Brett, right? I've seen it in myself, but then even saying like Brett, I seen that in you, right? Like I seen we doing music, but then it was like I'm doing this music for the Lord, right? I'm doing that, and so through creating that art, I think it also I've seen that manifest in your action, right? To follow through that art, and so that's more of just a shout out to say I saw that personally through that journey, and I saw that through art. You know what I mean?
It's a blessing.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you know, like I spent like 6 months reading different texts about dudes that were writing about being a better man, like character stuff just randomly. And, you know, like kind of what you're saying about Brandon's music, that stuff just bleeds out. You know what I'm saying? Like the more, you know, the more your brain focuses on anything, you know, the more like you process those things and the more you start doing those things, even in your personal actions. You know what I'm saying? That's real. That's
Yeah,
real.
you can literally speak your world with your mouth. You can literally speak what you want to see, how you want your life to go with your mouth. Like the word says, power of life and death in the tongue. You got to watch what you say, whether it's bad or good. You know what I'm saying? Because you speak bad things, that's the type of things you're gonna invite in your life. That's why our mouth is so powerful. You got to watch what you say, even around kids and everything like that. You might, man, you just like your daddy, or you ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? Kids take that and then that's who they think they are. You know what I'm saying? That's how powerful words are. You know what I'm saying? But we as adults, we can our words really count in our own lives and the people around us. What we speak is what we have. You know what I'm saying? Literally. You know what I'm saying? Even people that even famous speakers around the world, they quote the word of God, man, but they say it in their own way. Everything comes from the word of God, man. Everything stems from what he said. There's life is death and the power of the tongue. Everything stems from that. Your whole life, even how you want your career to go. You want to be a NBA player. You want to be a tech. You know, anything you want to do, bro. You got to speak that. Keep speaking it, and also you got to believe it. You can say anything you want to say, but if you don't actually believe the words that are coming out your mouth, it don't even. You know what I'm saying? It don't even matter.
Nah, bro, you right. I appreciate you saying that, and I guess that kind of my screen gonna go black, so I got it saved in my phone because I don't want to misquote nobody or misquote the word. But exactly what you said is kind of what my three, I guess, examples or quotes or messages that resonate pretty high in my train of thought. And you know, Sykes put me on that Johan, but my favorite guy is still Joseph Murphy, and I'm always bring him up because I'm big on the mental. But hold on one second, I gotta find it. It's right here. So what you were saying, Brett, like I believe in it, and this one right here, it says, remember, it is not the thing believed in, but the belief in your own mind, which brings about the results.
Oh, man.
So that one right there by Joseph Murphy kind of ties in to, you know, the Bible. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And, you know, those two go very strong to me. And then to just, you know, if you want to just throw one more in there, whosoever shall say unto the mountain, be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart, but shall believe that those things which he saith shall come to pass, he shall have whatsoever he saith. And that's Mark 11:23. So those three, so those, you know, like those three right there for me is just, I guess, clarification, because I've always felt that I had, you know, I personally, and we all have personal control over our own destination based off of our belief in ourselves. And, you know, that mental side is very strong. And that mental side is something that I'll always bring up in this chat, because I think sometimes we feel like we don't have that control, but we do have that control mentally. The word says it. And through faith and through that continuous positive talk, like you were saying, B, And all that stuff ties into me. And so those are my three examples of, I guess, quotes that no matter what quote I find, I guess the barriers of all quotes that I really, really like always come back to that. Because the mental to me is always going to trump any form of motivation from anyone else. I think that personal faith system and that belief, has to really run deep in your core. And then, you'll start to see those things. People talk about vision boards and all that stuff. I mean, all that is just putting your message out into the world and letting the world grab onto that positivity that you're putting out there. And I know all of y'all in this room has thought about somebody that you haven't talked to or seen in a long time. And then I be damned, that person winds up popping up in your life at some point after you have that thought. And those things, that's not just by coincidence. Like, you mentally put that person out there. You was thinking about that person for a reason. That's the connection that I believe we all have as humans walking this earth. It's a deeper connection that we all have together, that we all share, but we haven't really unlocked that power. But the word says that it's there. We have that capability. So, I mean, that's kind of what I'm, I guess, throwing out there. I love the art, shit. I thought I was a freestyle rapper my whole life, but didn't realize that all that was just a form of expression.
For sure.
And
Yeah.
I got vulnerable with a couple of brothers in this room and showed them something that I never showed anybody, and that's painting. I like to dabble with paint. Brian was always the artist in the group. Him, Sherm, Al, y'all boys was always artistic as far as being able to put stuff on paper. I could never draw, but I still had messages in my brain that I needed to release on paper. And now I can do that, and it's just for me. So anyway, I love y'all, dog.
No, that's real, brother. That's real.
Quotes.
Yeah, right. Before I start talking again.
Well, shoot, I guess I don't know, I guess where this quote came from, and I was at a church service years ago, actually with my mom, down in Clear Lake, and the pastor of the church that she goes to, even still today, he said something, and it's kind of along the lines of, I guess it was his father-in-law had asked him what he liked doing on Saturday mornings, and he was telling the story how he used to kind of sleep in and this, that, and the other. And he said his father-in-law looked at him and told him, he said, the only thing that comes to a man that sleeps is a dream. And that kind of was one of those things where it's just like, to me, it's kind of one of those things as far as a grown man, trying to be there to provide, protect, be the proper priest of my household, that sort of thing. You can't do that while you're sleeping. You know what I'm saying? You got to be awake. You got to be aware. You always got to make sure that you're attentive as to what's going on in your household. Because as me and another friend of mine always say, as far as once you're running your own household, when you have your own family, when you're responsible for those members of the family, that you gotta make sure you're paying attention, because that ship will sink without you being there. But anyway, that's just some of the funny ones. Also, Al-D, your sister, I had showed my brother. I had stopped by the house the other day. She posted one on IG on last Tuesday. I thought was real funny, man. I guess she got it from somebody else. It said, "Eat with your friends, don't compete with them.
Yeah.
The hustle is against poverty, not friendship." And man, I really like what she said right there. I actually had called Price a little earlier. I didn't get him though, because I've been helping my in-laws just kind of look around as far as for apartments and that kind of stuff, the next place that they're gonna move into. But something that I noticed that everybody always want to keep, and not to talk about money all the time, but man, there's a huge gap between the haves and the have-nots now, man. And I mean, and it's only growing wider. So when you're thinking about those next generations, man, I don't know what this world's gonna look like for them, but you don't want them to be on that other side, is what I'm saying. You want to give them all the tools and the knowledge, the right kind of spirit and mindset to have, every advantage possible. Because man, it's really hard to tell where this world is going, but you know, if they have the right faith and they have the right tools and you've left them in a good situation, they could really, you know, have a chance, because it's crazy out here these days, man. And it's only getting crazier.
That's real.
Definitely.
I see
Hey,
y'all. Go ahead, Lou Jack.
Go ahead. Hey, for me, I think I ain't never been, you know, big on you know, quotes and all that. But once I became a Christian and started walking with the Lord, man, the scriptures I hold dear to my heart. And so, you know, the first one that popped up to me is, I mean, it's where in the Bible he's talking about, you know, what goes into the mouth does not defile the man, but what comes out. You know, my words carry a lot of weight. They can either hurt somebody, you know what I'm saying, or they can uplift. So, you know, being a husband, being a father, you know, a brother, like I hold true to that, because I need to, you know, be slow to anger, be slow to speak. Because what I say, again, it either hurts somebody or it's uplift them. So as I get older, as I am older, you know, just making sure I think before I react. You know, I can't be that young kid, hot head, like just start popping off at the mouth. You know what I mean? So I gotta, you know, say true and just, you know, think before I react. You know what I mean? That's the one that come to my mind real quick.
I mean, without a doubt, that's real. And it's kind of like, you know, y'all pivoted pretty quickly to, like, you know, spirituality, which I don't know. Can y'all see the stuff I put in the group chat? Does that chat pop up somewhere over there?
I can see it.
Yeah, I've been reading it.
Yeah, and I, like, you know, I'm gonna read the longer one, but the shorter two, you know, one kind of like, I've struggled a bit with my, you know, my own spirituality. I think I've been on a more kind of awkward journey. But the first quote from Gandhi, where he said, "There are people in the world so hungry that God cannot appear to them except in the form of bread." Like, I read that in his bibliography, and it really like hit me as like how God can exist literally. Like, you know, and I knew what he meant. And I always kind of struggled with that, like, you know, taking what's spiritual or what's figurative or what's a message and putting it into like the day-to-day living. Like, where does this actually hit people's lives? And that just kind of hit me hard. You know, it shook me up a little bit. Like, you know, there's like the spiritual realm of it. And then there's like people that are like doing God's work every day with human beings. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of all in the same thing as being spiritual. And that second one says the two hardest tests on the spiritual road are the patience to wait for the right moment and the courage to not be disappointed with what we encounter. And that one was a heavy one for me, because I think I felt anxiety about really exploring my thoughts about spirituality and God, because that shit can be scary. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you can be afraid of your own thoughts, you know, places where you know, but you can't really get anywhere if you're not willing, you know what I'm saying, to encounter yourself, to see yourself, to really encounter your thoughts, right? And really sit down at the table with them and, like, you know, work through to the other side. So those were two that really rent them out to me, you know, about, you know, spirituality.
Yeah, that one that you just put, that part about having that courage, but then that part about also having that patience to wait.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's knowing that it's not our timeline, right? Like, a lot of times spiritually, even on our road, we want it to happen when we think it should happen. Like, I did everything I was supposed to do. Why? And we forget that, like, it's not our timeline. And a lot of the times, from even my own, the times when I thought that, like, it should have happened this way. Hey, if you stay patient, the spiritual realm will give you something that you can't even imagine. That's kind of part of why I think where you go to spiritual. I can't physically touch it. I can't mentally think it. When you get something from a spiritual blessing, it's usually beyond what you can even, like, man, I want this job. It's the best job in the world. It's my dream job. You don't get that, but then all of a sudden you're blessed with something that was 20 times, 100 times better than that. But I would have, my mental couldn't think that far, right? So, like, it's almost like on your spiritual walk, that patience is because you got to realize you can't see you mentally and physically, you can't even see what a blessing is, because it's spiritual. So it's almost like you just have to have that faith to know, man, it's leading me somewhere that I can't even imagine right now. And I think embracing that is a part of the journey. That's, to me, that's a big part of the spiritual journey, is embracing the unknown. You know what I mean? Embracing that and being ready for wherever it takes me. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how that touched me.
Let me piggyback. Can I piggyback on that just real quick?
Do your thing.
Because I mean, being from Houston, Texas, it's a big city, right? So like Luling is just a small town, whatever. So when I first got the interview here, I ain't never heard of the city of Luling ever, never heard of it. So when I came for my interview or whatnot, I walked around, looked in the building. I was like, man, I would never work here, bro. Like I thought everything was like trashy, like it smelled bad and all that stuff. Went through my interview process. Then like interview process, I was just like real, nonchalant, like just whatever. But they liked the fact, I kept on talking about mentoring and all that stuff. But come to the end, like I thought the interview was bad, so I walked out of there. Was like, man, this is crap. You know what I mean? Called my wife. I had a wife, I had a son, I had a baby on the way, no job. Called my wife. You know what I'm saying? I called on the phone. I was like, I'm crying on the phone. Like, man, that was horrible. Like I did bad. I know I ain't got the job. So anyways, I'm boohooing on the phone to her. The next day they called me. It was like, hey, we want you to come back. Like we want to hire you. You talk about not seeing what God has in store for you, but trusting. I like talked myself out of the job, really. You know what I mean? Like the door was open and I just turned around and walked away almost. Pretty much, So I was like, man, that's just a true blessing right there in disguise, you know what I mean? Without even actually knowing.
I appreciate you sharing that, Jack. And, Al, what you said is powerful. And also, Cheeks, a lot of people are I guess, nervous and scared to talk about their struggle with, religion. The word religion, like I wouldn't consider myself religious. You know what I mean? Like that's always hard when somebody talk about religion. And I guess, we've seen too many beautiful people from too many different walks of life to really define good or bad through religion. But I guess, talking about Gandhi and not being a churchgoer growing up and having a lot of church-going families around me, I think it all kind of came down to studying the basics of multiple religions and seeing, I guess, like the guidelines behind treating someone the way you want to be treated, and slowly. So no, shut the door. I'm on the phone, please. Sorry, guys. But anyway, kind of starting there, and then getting to college and literally studying deeper about multiple religions, like literally studying it. Because one thing that happened when I got to Utah was that the Mormon religion here was so dominant. The culture was so dominant that it almost it forced you to find what your truth was. As a Black man being here with all this culture around me, people always asking you about your faith, and it forced me to dive deeper. And I guess from that, I started really considering my actions as a kid and my so-called blessings and things by diving back into the Bible. Then I guess that formed a spirituality more than religion. And I don't even know if that's making any sense, but I just feel what you're saying, Cheeks. I guess that's what I'm trying to say, is that the struggle for me was real, but I knew that my faith, I knew that I believed in God. I knew that I believed in a higher being, but it was hard for me, I guess, to sit in churches for a long time. You know what I mean? Like, I became more critical of the people inside the church, more critical of the pastor than I did about the actual message that I was receiving. And it took me a long time to grow up to understand that there was power in all messages that come from a good basis. And it was, I mean, look, it's something that I still wrestle with daily, but my wrestling has taught me to open my mind and also see beauty, I guess, all around me, through our upbringing too. But like I said, I'm rambling right now and I apologize for that, but I guess I I understand that nervous struggle of trying to find out what it is that's true to you. I get that.
Well, I appreciate you understanding that. Like I said, that's one of those things that can be hard to talk about that, I've gotten a lot better at as I've gotten older. Like, like asking those tough questions, really being introspective, really being willing to have those conversations. And then talking to other spiritual, religious people, that have knowledge and have perspective and, are willing to have those conversations with you is also helpful. So I definitely appreciate that. I thought about you, Price, when I posted that a little bit longer, that longer God one. I don't know if you read that one where it says, communing with God is communing with our own hearts, our best selves, not with something foreign and accidental. Saints and devotees have gone into the wilderness to find God. Of course, they took God with them, and the silence and detachment enabled them to hear the still small voice of their own souls, as one hears the ticking of his own watch in the stillness of the night. You know what I'm saying? And, it made me think about what I had learned about the Bible and all, the journeys that, so many religious men took, out into the wilderness, it's just one of those things that helps it all come together for me. It's connected as you need to be to God. So much of God is in you. And so much of that is about connecting to yourself, and really building that relationship as well.
I like that one. I definitely like the part where it is like that God, that perfect, we see that it's like we're pursuing, just even like in the Christian walk, right? You're pursuing to be Christ-like, right? But it's within you, right? Like it's taking those time to say, talking to that side of me that is that perfection. That's like, and just like we said, it's a lot about the process, right? Every day we're trying to get there. Like that's the part. It's every day we're trying to pursue that best person within us. You know what I mean? I think to me, that's what I get from the journey, from the spiritual walk, the spiritual journey, and the kind of mindset we're trying to get is like, for eternity, we're not going to be, there's only one perfection that was here on earth. So our job is the pursuit of that, right? Yeah. Like enjoying and going through the pursuit of getting great, the pursuit of trying to get to perfection, the pursuit of being the best man we can be. Like we'll never, like, that's the whole thing. Like while we're here, I think our purpose is to pursue being the best person I can be, right? Every day it's kind of a evolving thing, and it goes up, it goes down. And I think every day that we're here, we have another opportunity to wake up. Hey, I got another opportunity to pursue to be better. You know what I mean? Yesterday was this, today is gonna be that. And so I think that piece of like communing with God and communing with our own hearts is really about just looking within for trying to reach that top, just keep pushing towards that goal.
Look, I'm just joining in, man. Oh, go ahead, Brett.
Yeah, I was just saying, the whole thing about the wilderness and going off is about just every distraction, every person, you get away from them. You go out by yourself and you get in God's face. You know what I'm saying? You get to know him. He want a relationship with you. He want to love on you. He's the only person that know why he put you on this earth. Anybody else is good. He can use people, but he wants you to get that personal relationship by yourself. No distraction, no people in your ear, just you and him. You know what I'm saying? 40 days, 40 nights, 3 days, it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? That's what he wants. That's all I wanted to say, but before I forgot it, you know what I'm saying? Besides, do your thing though, man.
It's like, I mean, that's true. What y'all both just talking about the journey, piggyback on what Hughes was just saying, it is a journey. Y'all know I got a bunch of, like random ass tattoos and shit. And one of the quotes I sent in, was from one of my tats. But it made me think about what Brett just said and what Hughes just said. It said, rivers know this, there is no hurry, we shall get there someday. And it's like, I just feel so much more peace, like every time I read that, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm not at the place I'm supposed to be today, you know what I'm saying? But I'm willing to do the work and, like I'll get to the, that place on my own time, you know what I'm saying? At my own pace.
What's up, fellas?
Yes,
Look, I'm late, man. I didn't do my homework, but I pulled down a couple books. That's always handy, baby. See what we can too, man. I think my reaction to everything y'all saying, man, and I guess my relation to y'all, probably my relation to religion, is all based on just trying to find something that's, I call it life affirming, man. You know what I mean? I feel like sometimes you meet pastors and meet people that almost uses religion, it feels like, in a life denying type of way. It almost, in a fearful, don't do this, don't do that type of way. I feel like it's got to be used in a life affirming type of way. You got to get past the fear religion mongering and get on to like, well, actually, if this is true, then I should live to the fullest. And I should go for it, right? And I think that's just a different read on the scriptures and on the words out there. But that's my relationship to it. Is like, I'm always looking for them things that's saying, okay, go further. You're not going far enough. And so, I got a few of them here, man. I found one on your boy Goethe here. Man, I'm not gonna find it, but it basically says the Greeks said that Alexander the Great went as far as chaos the other day. Goethe went there and stayed for a while. And then he went further and brought him back home safely. So what that says to me is like, look, what you think is the limit, this man went further with ease, right? Because, and then, I mean, clearly there's a lot more that explains why he could do that. Why could he go to that place, sit and be still and find peace where others found chaos? Yeah. There's something about him that allows him to do that. And so those are the type of things. Here, I got one more. I think it relates to that. Again, back to this life affirming piece. I sent this one to Price a minute ago. This is Emerson. Men's actions are too strong for them. Show me a man who has acted and who has not been a victim enslaved to his actions. What they have done commits and enforces them to do it again. The first act, which was to be an experiment, becomes a sacrament. The fiery reformer embodies his aspiration in some rite or covenant, and he and his friends cleave to it and lose the aspiration. The Quaker has established Quakerism. The Shaker has established his monastery and his dance. And although each prates of spirit, there is no spirit. It's just repetition. It becomes anti-spiritual. And so what that says is like, look, you got to use the word to take action, but then you can't stop there because that action will just become repetition. And then you just keep pushing. And then you just keep going on that spiral upward, And so that's what I like about it. And that's what I like about Price and you guys. Again, it's like a positive, self-affirming version of religion and the word.
Yes, sir. We both definitely appreciate you sharing that, brother.
100.
That's real.
Hey, you know what's beautiful about all this? And Sykes, you can quote me if I'm lying, but I've tried to get. I spoke Sykes and Cheeks having a conversation like this. Hey, look, I knew it was gonna happen. Y'all boys are poetic, dog. Y'all got a lot of stuff in y'all bag that the world needs to hear because it's multiple examples of philosophers, authors, and just humans that y'all have encountered, that y'all have put in poetic form to be able to share and see the viewpoints of how others think. And I've learned that through my connection with Cheeks, and I've learned that through Sykes. And I've now learned it through all these other brothers in here who, been childhood friends. Like it's just unique that it took this long, but it all takes time for us to be able to sit in this room and share these conversations like this because, man, I'm expanding, brother. I'm telling you, I'm expanding by having these conversations. I look forward to this stuff, man. And I'm learning more and more about my brothers that I'm blessed and thankful that I get to hear it now, but it also damn near makes me frustrated that it took this long, to be able to have these conversations. So, man, I appreciate this stuff, dog. But that's it, dog. Brother just in here just happy. That's all, just happy. That
We,
brothers
we,
having this
we
convo, dog.
appreciate you too, brother. You know, Ronnie talking, you know, he over there talking, he's quite the accomplished author himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, he over there talking all that ish, you know, he the real poet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I got.
What'd you say? Go ahead, Hughes.
Now I had one I pulled up, and I think I sent it to somebody, but this one caught me. It kind of goes back to what we talked about. I want to just say, I don't know where it's from. I just happened to have a screenshot. It popped up on Facebook or something I shared a while back. But until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless dreams and splendid plans, that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. Whatever you can do or dream, you can begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now. And I don't know where it came from, but it speaks to me just in like, it's just as simple as, hey, man, whatever you want to do, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? And one step can turn to 1,000 miles, right? Like even with this, it literally was like, man, it really came from Sykes telling me that one of his guys had reached out and was saying, hey, man, let's just get on a call with you invite a brother, we all get on calls. And then that's turned into us, what, 5, 6 straight weeks, or how many weeks we had. And like Ronnie said, man, this is very beneficial for me. You know what I mean? Like everything that's been saying and learning. Like I said, man, we all know we done known each other for 20 plus years, you know what I mean? And it's stuff I learn every day on the call that I never knew. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, man, I love that. You know what I mean? I love that for sure.
No, that's real. That's real. Well, did anybody else have anything they want to share about anything that was just said? I figure y'all might pivot towards religion. You know, that's why I had a few religious quotes there. You know, I didn't. You know, I figured I was the most unlikely person to start the Bible study, but you know, apparently that's what we got to, which is always a cool thing. I only had 2 more quotes on my sheet. They weren't religious based or anything. I really just wanted to share with y'all one of my, some bits and pieces from one of my favorite authors. I was talking about how literature helped me grow up a bit, and then sometimes you read something from somebody, and like they express a personal experience for you in better words than you could have, it just hits you sharp. You know what I'm saying? You're like, you read something, you're like, damn, like I felt that many times in my life, never been able to. And I put a quote from Ta-Nehisi into the group chat, and he's an African American writer. He's pretty popular now. You may have read something by him, but I just think he talks about, I've been on race relations, the history of, Africanized humans in America. That's just what I've been reading about the past year, not for any particular reason. That's just kind of where my curiosity has gone. And I feel like I'm growing and understanding so much, and also kind of confronting, different angles of my own, Blackness in America. You know what I'm saying? And, going through all that. So look over at Ty's quote, you must resist the common urge towards the comforting narrative of the divine law, towards fairy tales that imply some irrepressible justice. The enslaved were not bricks in your road, and their lives were not chapters in your redemptive history. They were people turned to fuel for the American machine. Enslavement was not destined to end, and it was wrong to claim our present circumstance, no matter how improved, as the redemption for the lives of people who never asked for a posthumous, untouchable glory of dying for their children. Our triumphs can never compensate for this. And that was one of those paragraphs. I read it, I was like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, we even just growing up being Black in America, like I've thought, I've appreciated what the people did that came before us so often. You know what I'm saying? But I never even looked at it from like the selfish point of like what they would think about it if they saw us now. Although of course they would be happy that their people had, made such large grounds, but like the toll they really had to pay, like they never asked to be those people or to live in those times or to have to carry all that weight. They were people just like us. They had personalities and had dreams and shit they wanted to do too. So that was just one of those things that really cut me deep. If you hadn't read Between the World and Me, I know my brother listened to it on audio book too. I normally can't get him listening to nothing, but one of the construction dudes he listened to told him to listen to it, so he listened to it. But it's a really good read. That's Ta-Nehisi Coates, Between the World and Me. I'll drop one of his in there. I just wanted to share that with y'all. He's one of the guys, one, you know, youngish guy. I think it's just like really, really writing, man. He's really writing right now. Yeah, man.
Sure, man. No, I love him, bro. I love him.
You know what we need to do? We need to change the word from religion to just lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? We are what we talk about. This just my lifestyle, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We just make it so kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like it's dividing. You know what I'm saying? This is how we live, man. We do what we say we gonna do. We move how we gonna move. You know what I'm saying? We not procrastinators. We live this life. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, these talks is empowering. I ain't lying. Like that boy else say, man, I be getting blessed every time. I ain't lying.
Oh, for sure.
It's funny, you know, I was in Memphis the week that everything shut down, I was in Memphis, and, you know, me and A. Hughes, I went to dinner or whatever, and, you know, we just talked, since we're talking about literature, I'm like halfway through the book he told me to get, and it's just, you think, you know, like, yeah, and you think about just like, dang, Affirm, you know, it's about a black dude in America that, you know, he built the empire from the ground up. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy the things you find inspiring, and so many, you know how many humans that are out there that you've never even heard of that have inspirational stories. You know, the history almost forgot about. So it's, to piggyback on what Brett just said, you know, I'm definitely uplifted and empowered by, you know, these conversations and, you know, these relationships, and, you know, appreciate y'all.
And a lot of time that history not just lost and sometimes buried. You know, what I'm saying?
Intentionally buried.
Yeah, intentionally buried, so that we don't understand those stories and the people who look like us, or the things that they did here, or what they built. Like even reading that Bill Street, man, that, you know, Robert Church, that dude built an empire out here, man. He had the city on lock. Like he literally have built a like his park was bigger. The president came to Memphis. This is like in the 20s. This is like early. The president came to Memphis and had to go to the black park, you know, his park, because he owned it. Like he had the biggest park in Memphis. He really had all the big area. And what they did is they literally, because he did that, start kind of like cutting that out. Like, oh, blacks, they getting a little too powerful here in Memphis. They went and try to build a park 2-3 times bigger. They shut half his land down. His family home ended up getting burned down. They end up turning the entire black neighborhood that they built into the projects. And this is all systematically. There's another book that connected that, where it's like a point in time in U.S. history where they pretty much did that every major city, from Indianapolis to Houston to all the cities where there was black business. It was a point where they basically came into those little black neighborhoods and was like, oh, well, we need to build public housing here. Well, let's find public housing land. Let's go to where the black businesses are, put public housing there. And so now they can't even be self-sufficient. We're going to take away the one place where they're sufficient, replace it with a thing where they have to depend on us. And then we could possibly, we really are still living in that, right?
Yeah.
Like we're like kind of living in the effects of that right now. And a lot of that is hidden. A lot of that stuff is out, but it's also, you know, some of it can be looked at like, oh, I'm mad, but some of it is more inspiring, of just, they did that, and there's people who still made it. Like still seeing levels of success. Our parents still was able to get us to schools they were still able to inspire us to get education. We still able to get jobs. And so if we were able to do that, and they were fighting that hard to destroy history and kind of zone us out and do all that, and we were still able to have some sense of success, then, I mean, it's limitless of what we could do, right? Like if like our people and people in general have fought through that. So it's more inspiring, you know. If that's how y'all did it, then y'all really messed up by giving me a little heads up, because I'm trying to take it all the way.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it from.
It's kind of crazy, bro. Everywhere you go, you go to Atlanta, Chicago, anywhere you see a street called MLK. It's a low-income neighborhood full of blacks. You know what I'm saying? That's wild, man, to me. Everywhere I go, I see MLK. I say, man, it looks just like where I'm at.
Hey, and that's probably for a reason, man. It's actually kind of crazy, man. It's actually kind of crazy just to think about that, man. It might even be like a blatant. I don't want to get down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
It could literally be like a blatant slap in our face.
Straight up, bro.
Like we're doing this, like,
Yeah.
that whole situation. So,
Yeah.
That's
but
crazy.
yeah,
But yeah, shit, what shit Hughes? That's all I had really had, you know, with some quotes and everything, bro. You know?
man, this is a question for the group, because you know what I mean, I don't know, and every what we've gotten out of it so far is 100 for me. Like that, I don't need nothing else.
Straight up.
But the question I want to ask is, how do you all feel, and should we share some of these same messages that we've had and that we've recorded, or put some of the information out there for other people to receive? Or should this just maintain in our circle, or for the information that we've shared amongst each other?
It sounds like expanding to me. That sounds like, I mean, there's some good information here. I think we should keep it like we're doing right now, but we should also share it. You know what I'm saying? We should have these conversations just with us. You know what I'm saying? We just pour our hearts out. And then, I mean, like this too said. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause it's a lot of good info. It's a lot of good encouraging and uplifting. You know what I'm saying? And people need to see that. We might start a trend. Somebody, they might give us some people they used to go to school with, or people they didn't lost contact with. They're gonna link up and do the same thing we doing. So we might be just leading by example at the same time. That's what I got on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hughes. I mean, you know, it's really up to y'all. I definitely know some direct individuals that will go back and listen to some of these. Like, you know, Mike, you know, like Mike Grizz asked me about, you know, the other day, like, you know, what y'all talking about? You know, he's like a type of dude, he would go back and listen to him. You know, like freshmen go back and listen, or you know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
I wonder if we start with our circle and say, hey man, here the link. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe not just put it. Yeah.
Closest circle. You know what I mean? Like it may not like this the underground link. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if you got your people who you close to.
Yeah.
I would say that and I'll share it again in here, is let people into the folder, especially the people I close, like from a fresh, from Mike Grizz, from Max, to all, like especially if it's neighborhood, like I want like those to me, even if I'm like public, my first mindset are these people. You know what I mean? It's like how can we get this to our circle of people?
So
that's
so maybe
to me, that's what I see. What you thinking?
Yeah, I was gonna say, maybe. Yeah, go ahead, Luda. Go ahead, Luda.
Yeah. For me, it's all good. Like if you know somebody, we might have said something that may spark something in somebody else, man. I mean, you know, we talked about some private stuff and some non-private stuff. Like to me, I think it needs to be out there, at least to just get the conversation going, but not just between us, but just, I mean, this is all for us, but it can be to use to be uplifting somebody else too. It's my little 2 cents for it.
Yeah. So maybe we can start just sharing it with another homie or two. You know what I'm saying, and see how that go.
Yeah. I like that.
Cool.
Yeah, man. Shit.
Cool. Well, we running up on the hour. You know what I mean? We got some good talking in, man. Anybody got anything else before we drop off?
No, sir.
Already, man. It's always good seeing y'all boys, man. Love y'all boys, man. I appreciate everything.
Yeah, man. He was who you nominating for next Tuesday.
Man, I think we might. Are you up, Brett?
like I say, man. Everything been leading up to what I was gonna talk about, and that's crazy, man. That's why I say God don't make mistakes, man. My thing, I'm gonna lead on talking about the importance of walking in your purpose, man.
Yeah, that's good.
Walking in your purpose, man. God been leading it up, bro. I just been quiet, man. I ain't lying, bro. Like everything I've been hearing, it's been like what God been telling me. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, bro. Next week, 6:30 Tuesday. The importance of walking in your purpose, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Already.
I
see you over there, Pop.
Oh yeah, man. All right, fellas. I appreciate it, man.
All right,
All right,
brother.
Good week, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Y'all have a good week.
You too. Y'all too.